Fish on, boys. Number 1. The scenery, in my opinion, is kind of what makes this place kind of cool. Right there, fish on. Oh, look at that. I mean, good as it gets, man. Super nice. Coffee in the boat just hits a little different. All is right in the world when the sun's coming up and we have boat coffee. What is going on, guys? We are back with another video today. How do we lead into this? How do we tie this all together? You know, as kind of your host of the video, you generally have to come up with not just like a plot. Plot might be the wrong word, but you have to kind of tie the story together, right? When you're filming and traveling this much. So, because you lose track of days, you lose track of where you were, you lose track of what you guys watched last, you lose track of what I filmed or what I haven't filmed. Last time you guys saw me, I was out in Lake Michigan, Sturgeon Bay, Door County area, catching some giant walleyes. Left there the day I got there, the next morning after I got that video. Drove about 6 hours west, hit a ridiculous snowstorm, got off the highway, hoteled it up for the night, and woke up to this. Absolutely insane. Thought we were past this. It was 80 degrees when we filmed the last video, and then we had a massive winter storm. Proceeded on down the road until we got to South Dakota. Where are we, you might ask? We are on the Missouri River system out of Chamberlain, South Dakota. If you look behind me, you'd probably say that does not look like Wisconsin. And it certainly doesn't. It was about a 12, 13-hour drive coming out here. But we're out here. Then I fished a little bit yesterday in a 40-mile-an-hour wind, which was ridiculous. Couldn't really go around and really fish clean as much as I wanted to. This morning's a little bit nicer out. So the goal today is we kind of show two different patterns that I kind of stumbled into yesterday. One is a daytime thing. The other one is a nighttime thing. At least that's kind of the goal. I mean, we're just queuing this up right now, hoping that it happens. It's quite possible it doesn't happen that way. But that's the plan. We're out here at the Missouri River System. I believe this is called Francis Case. We're out here, Missouri River System, out of Chamberlain, South Dakota. Now, one of the big reasons why I gave myself a few extra days of being out here was so that I could film a lot of Walleye Now stuff and break down some patterns out here. Because we always get asked a ton of questions. Tom, post Walleye Now content on the Missouri River System. So that is the secondary goal. Film this video. Tonight or tomorrow or maybe in the middle of the day today, we'll film a bunch of content for the Walleye Now app. So that's the plan. Stay tuned. Should be a beautiful day out here on Francis Case, and hopefully we catch a bunch of walleyes because this system loaded with 15 to 20 inch fish. So stay tuned. Let's get it going on. Make a run. Catch some of these fish out here in South Dakota. All right, pattern number 1 in which we've been fishing. Shallow water pitching. You guys know, it's spring. You got to be pitching shallow water. At least this is one pattern that seems to pretty much work. A lot of places you're going to go. And it's always funny when you travel kind of the Midwest walleye fishing. We were just in the far eastern part of Wisconsin, then you come to, middle of South Dakota. The fish are doing relatively the same thing. There's some odd little quirks each place you go. But a lot of times the general pattern can generally stay pretty consistent. Spring, typically a little bit more shallow, right? So that's what we're doing. And what we're going to actually be pitching is the Kalen's Tickle Shad in a 2.8 in a very light 1/8 ounce head, because we're going to be pitching like 7 feet and less, and we like that slow fall. One thing that is very important when you go to a very small head and very light and very shallow, one very overlooked thing is downsizing your swim bait. 2.8 inches, a little bit smaller in that kind of ghostly white. And I don't know what these fish eat out here, but I'm sure it's like a shad thing or maybe, who knows. But a lot of these bait fish are pretty white. And a lot of times in this kind of chalky water, white pops pretty good. So you guys could probably see here like how close we're actually fishing to the bank. And I'm still even going to get in a little bit shallower. And what you find out here a lot, it seems like there's kind of a main channel. And then anywhere you have like a little flat adjacent to it has a good potential to have fish on it. So we're going to pitch around right next to this beautiful bluff and hopefully catch some fish here to start the day off. I think it's time for the great unveil, right? You guys have asked about 1,000 times what mounts these are, what mount this is, what kind of system I use. How come it's literally this simple to make a long run and put your live pole in a rock solid base? TKI ink, this is what these are. And all link them down below. There's also a code you can use on these as well if you want to get one. Far and away the most rock solid, easiest functionality system that I have found for me right now. There's two different things I got going on. Maybe we'll just flip this little guy around here for a second so you guys can kind of see this. I got two in my boat, one in the front, one in the back. This one right here, it's mounted on a rail system, also rock solid. The one in the back is mounted on a track system. You can do whatever you need to do to fit your boat, and maybe we'll throw just some b-roll right here of like how easy these releases are to use, because you guys can kind of see how quick and simple it is just to throw that down in there and you're fishing, right? You want to make a long run, come back up. Maybe we'll just show it now. Little clip right here, just a little release. Press that, it releases it like that. Right up and out you go. Now the other cool part about these is if I back this out and turn it like this, it literally turns into a rod holder. And just look how easy this goes in here. Boom, and you're locked in. Now you have a rock solid rod holder for trolling. So it's the only live mount to my knowledge that can also be a rod holder. You know, it's got full functionality if you want to dip the tip, if you want to bring the tip up. But it's the only one in my knowledge that has this ability. Fish on, boom. There you go. Simply release it. So super cool design, and I was lucky enough, me and Mitch were lucky enough actually, to kind of play a part in helping kind of work the kinks out of this whole system, kind of do a full year like product testing. So it's a company that obviously we work very closely with, and we wanted something that was quick, easy, rock solid, and it's kind of suited for our style of run and gun, where you're not just going to put this down and leave it all day. We're not bass fishing a lot where it's just on the front and we're up there all the time. We have one in back that can lock down to the track system. We have one in front that can lock down to the rail, and it's perfectly suited for my kind of run and gun tiller boat walleye fishing. Fish on, boys. Number one. Didn't take too long either, did it? What do we got? 4 minutes, 30 seconds. All right, that ain't too shabby. Way out there. Picked it up right off bottom, and we're going to have ourselves our first nice eater size Missouri River System fish of the day. Oh yeah, nice fat one. Oh, with the flip. And this is kind of what it's about out here. Catching a pile of those guys right there. Not a ton of giants in this system from what I've collected, but a ton of eater size fish. And he just popped that thing right on the bottom. Did not feel the line twitch at all. But there we go. How you gonna beat it, man? Out on the Missouri River, catching a pile of, they're always kind of this gold or this almost like a greenback color out here, aren't they? But we'll take them like that all day long. And if we could pile a bunch of these together on a couple different cool patterns today, anytime you could pitch them shallow is good with me. Let's let that guy go. The scenery, in my opinion, is kind of what makes this place kind of cool. There we go, buddy. A little 17-incher to get the morning going. How you gonna beat it right there? On the white tickle shad swim bait. I'll link it down below if any of you guys want to check it out and give it a try. But that is number one of the day right there. Fish number two, man. They're picking it up right off bottom. I just kind of realized I got into some fish, so I just kind of spot locked, started pitching around a little bit more. Where you at, bud? Oh yeah, another nice one. Another nice fish right there. I'll go ahead and scoop him up real quick. I could probably flip him, but he looks like he's hooked just kind of right on the outside of the mouth here. Here, bud. There we go. Yep, and he came off right in the net. Oh man. Never gets old. Now, obviously not the biggest fish in the world, but if you're going to keep them, they're about perfect eaters. One of my favorite things in this world is coming to new places and catching walleyes. 16-inch male right there. And I can tell you, based on the water temps, a lot of these females are probably spawning right now, which sometimes can mean they're relatively negative and neutral. But there's nothing I love more than coming to a new body of water and kind of putting a little program together. And it's always, I enjoy it more when it's like a unique bite, right? And whether that means you're doing something off the wall or you're doing something cool like this, where you're just fishing next to these like cliff faces, you know, catching walleyes in shallow water. It's a pretty cool system. And let's do it again. I'm all about it. It's finally getting a little bit warmer out this morning. We're definitely on some fish. The wind's not blowing 45 miles an hour yet. Of course, the day is not over, and whenever you're in the Dakotas, at any hour it could be blowing 45 miles an hour, so we'll enjoy it for now. Fish on. That one thumped it a little bit harder. Oh man, are we rolling? We got everything rolling. A little bit of a camera meltdown there for a second. Another nice one, another nice fish. I mean, we have not been fishing for long. And if the goal is to put a bunch of eaters in the boat, we are certainly doing that. There we go. It does seem like there's a bunch of like 13, 14 inchers out here. But it does seem like when you're catching kind of those little bit better sized fish, 15 to 20 inchers, kind of the goal, right? There we go, man. Another nice one. They are all about that little white. I think the water is normally quite a bit clearer than it is right now. And because of that, I think it's making the bite a little bit different. Now, yesterday I didn't have the luxury of running around 40 miles of river looking for clean water, so we just kind of had to make do with what we got. Well, there we go, man. Another nice perky. I love the color of these fish out here. How they're kind of almost that green. And I feel like the whole Missouri River system is like that, at least in my experience. Oh, it would be nice to see one about 20, a real fat, like 22 incher, you know. But can't complain. Probably made, well, how long have we been fishing for? Probably fishing for about 15, 20 minutes so far. 3 fish in the boat, all on that little guy right there. 1/8 ounce jig, 2.8 Kalen's tickle shad. Kind of that white, ghostly looking color. Water's probably got about a foot of visibility to it. So it probably isn't ideal, but it is what it is. And we're catching some fish. Oh. Now we got audio. Fish on. Didn't turn the audio chesty on for a second. And there is a lot of fish like this in here. You know, one thing I noticed, that you notice kind of time and time again, look at that perky little guy, man. Does it get any better than that right there? If we go for a boat flip. There we go. One thing you'll see when you're fishing, about a 17 incher there. One thing you notice when you're fishing dirty water is the fish can be there, and a lot of people say, oh, the fish don't bite in dirty water. Generally what it means is you got to comb the water a little bit more. When those fish, you know, they're used to seeing 5-6 feet, and they go down, look how they're eating that thing. When they go down to only being able to see 12 inches, it requires more casts, essentially, dunk, 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 as you can imagine, to kind of put a bait right in front of those fish and make them do something about it. Perfect eaters, man. A lot of these males, obviously, but there's a 17 incher. We have not got the 12 inch walleye bug yet, which I believe this is a system where you can just get in some of those real short dinky ones. But there we go. Nice eater if you're going to keep one. We're slowly putting it together this morning. There's another pattern, which I want to do tonight. A little bit different and kind of a very unique type of walleye fishing. But let's let that guy go. See you later, little lady. That is hopefully going to be kind of cool. And I don't know how this video is going to go because, you know, there's no script to any of this. It's just go out and kind of see what happens. But if I can make the nighttime thing work, maybe do half the video this morning, half the video tonight, I think that would kind of be a cool deal. We'll see. We're sitting in 7 feet of water right now. As you can see, not far off the bank. Cast length out that way, it's probably 17. So you just kind of get this little shelf right here where there's some fish around. And we're just kind of picking through them. Not seeing like mountains of fish on the side imaging, I'd say. But, you know, if we get 3-4 fish on there, it seems like I can kind of manipulate a cast enough to make them bite. And I'll say this about the live. We're using obviously a live quite a bit today. I'd say it's putting my bait in front of about half the fish that I'm catching. But the most important thing it does is not show you like your lure. You know, it's always like the TV show commercial, right? Oh man, I watched the fish come up and bite it. Does that happen? 100% that happens. But more importantly than that, it lets you know where those fish are. So like I see some on side imaging, I'm like, oh, there's 150 feet that way. And I make that kind of pinpointed cast in that direction. It's not necessarily like watching the fish bite your bait a lot of times doesn't do you any more than just knowing where the fish is. It's just kind of a flashy thing for a commercial. But what it is very good at is, number one, showing you structure. Number two, showing you where those fish are, how far away they are, so you can get a bait on them quickly. What? Did you guys see that? Literally stopped to mess with something that was driving me. I literally stopped to mess with something that was driving me nuts in the front of the boat. My cord was just out for charging, and there was a fish that picked it up right there and just ran with it. Oh man, look at that angry little guy right there. Flip him on in. Look at that. Cookie cutters, man. I think this is what the deal is out here. Now, do you do this enough, then you catch a 20 incher, 21 incher? Probably, I would assume. But there we go. I mean, we're catching just a pile of these 15 to kind of 17 and a half inches right now. And I think the limit is like 15 inches out here. And this is definitely one of those places I think you can keep fish, which I might keep one. I generally allow myself to keep about 2 walleyes a year. And people are always like, oh, why don't you keep them? Why don't you keep them? To be honest with you, I just have too much respect for, I mean, I need them so that I can do my job, right? So why on earth would I try to keep one? But there we go. I mean, we definitely caught a bunch of fish. I don't know if we should. There's no way we're putting all of them in because they're just kind of like cookie cutter size, right? Maybe we'll do a little run around, see if we can't find something else, or maybe we'll just cut to the nighttime. Well, welcome back to the second half of today's video. What are we going to be doing now? Well, if you can tell by the sun is just going down. And if you know anything about springtime walleyes, they like to go really shallow in the darkness. And we're going to follow them right up in there into some super skinny water. That's kind of the plan. Kind of a 1-2 punch of daytime casting the swim bait in a little bit kind of intermediate depth water. We've been pitching super shallow once the sun goes down. So we're going to probably just kind of putt over there, wait till total darkness. We're going to get on kind of a little rip-rappy type of spot with some current hitting it and cast maybe some swim baits, maybe some crank baits, and twitch them around in literally like a foot to 2 feet of water for these fish that are sitting up on some of this hard bottom stuff. So it's a super fun, unique bite. It's almost like bass fishing for walleyes. And anytime you can get aggressive with it, go super shallow and snap and twitch a bait around, all good with me. So had a fun little morning catching a whole bunch of walleyes. Hopefully tonight we hope to repeat. Beautiful out. It's April. We're in South Dakota. We're on Francis Case, and it is a stunning evening out. So stay tuned. Let's go pitch up shallow. Hopefully we catch a bunch of fish. Right there, fish on. Feeling nice. Oh yeah, nice fish. Nice fish right there. Dude, is there a more fun way to catch a walleye than that right there, my man? Let's go ahead and grab our net and we'll scoop them on up. There we go. Oh, dude. You see, guys, how close we are to the bank? Pretty crazy, huh? Pretty crazy. He's a long one. It's about a 19 incher, I'd say. I'm just snapping little suspending twitch bait around. I was actually doing this on a last trip for much larger fish in Sturgeon Bay. But there we go. Look at that. I mean, good as it gets, man. Super nice fish. Bass fishing for walleyes. Tough to beat that, man. It's about 19 incher right there. We'll let him go real quick. Not even fully dark yet. How about that? The only thing you gotta watch out for is my trolling motor doesn't bang the bottom. Other than that, we should be in for a good one. Any suspending minnow bait will basically work for this style of presentation. This is a Smithwick robe, a Rapala Husky jerk would work. And luckily I have brought some of these with for trolling on a recent trip, and I've had some in the boat because I was not anticipating on fishing this way. But just throwing that on there. It's important whenever you're fishing this style of presentation. Go with a longer medium light action rod. I guess the length doesn't really matter as much, but Elliott 7.3 medium light fast. You want to have a good amount of load in the rod so that you just don't pull hooks out of fish. And basically the reason we're so close to the bank is because we're paralleling it. Those fish are real snug, so it doesn't make any sense to sit way out and cast to the bank. Much more effective to sit right on the bank, casting down, much like a bass guy would do. Right there. Fish on. All right, it's just kind of starting to get to that hour of the day here. I don't think we got a super big fish, but not too shabby. Go ahead and flip you on in, bud. Oh yeah. Another nice 16er. Another nice 16er, and I don't know if there's a cooler, more interactive way you can catch walleyes than this right here. You don't get to do this all season, 1 foot off the bank. We'll take it. Definitely a fun little pattern. And these fish definitely start biting good in this super shallow stuff this time of day. I'll give you guys a look real quick. There we go. Probably super bright from that direction, but we'll take them, man. Let's let them go. Like I said, kind of not the biggest fish in the world, but man, is it a cool kind of deal just with this amount of numbers. Anytime you can pitch riprap like this, ton of fun. Fish on. Dude, just, I mean, on the bank, on the bank. So crazy, man. Let me get you guys some light real quick. There we go. Oh, it is getting to be time. This fish was like, I mean, I literally got way up in the rocks and then just like pulled it out. Made a twitch or two and boom, fish on. Where you at, buddy? I can't see because I've been looking at the light. Oh, can we flip him? I'm blind. I'm absolutely blind. There we go. He kind of got it all wonky there. Crankbait to the side of the dome, man. Well, since I got in this little spot here, I mean, I've probably made about 10 casts. And have had bites on about 6 of them. Not big ones, but they're all about that 15 to 19 inch range. And that is all right with me. Tons of hook sets on a super cool style of fishing. Pitching the twitch bait in the rocks. Such a fun way to fish. All right, you guys, it is fully dark out now. It's about 9 something. Fished for about half an hour. Caught 5 or 6 fish. I don't know if we'll put all of them in, put 3, 4 of them in, or put all 5 of them in. A lot of those kind of nice eater-sized walleyes. And we're going to kind of wrap today up right there. No need to go crazy late, right? It's been a long road trip so far of seminars, speaking engagements. Got one more tomorrow and one more on Saturday on my return voyage home. Long trip on the road, 3 seminars, 3 different bodies of water, 3 different YouTube videos on all of them. That's kind of the life of the traveling YouTuber. Hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed this video. Quick little rundown on a few different patterns, working out here on the Missouri River right now to catch an absolute pile of walleyes, pitching those jig shallow in the middle of the day, casting some cranks on the bank right at dark. And like I said, tomorrow, which by the time you guys see this, the videos are already be up, but if you want to come out here to this system and do exactly what I did, I'll do an awesome YouTube video, or sorry, a Walleye Now video, breaking down exact locations, what the side imaging's looking like, and kind of what we're looking for to get around those fish, because it is a big, large system, and there's not fish everywhere. So we'll do a really good job of breaking that down. To find that, get on the Walleye Now app, available on Google Play and the App Store. Click Let's Go Fishing at the bottom of the page. Click Spring, and click, should we call this a reservoir system? It does have a dam on it. Let's call it reservoir system, and that thumbnail will be right there. So Walleye Now app's home to it. So much of this great walleye fishing information. If you want to come out to almost any body of water, there's information on there to point you in the right direction, what to see on your electronics, baits, presentations, when, where to fish, all that kind of stuff. So look for that on the Walleye Now app. But appreciate you guys watching this video. Stay tuned for more content. I'm gonna go get a good night's sleep in the hotel. We'll see you guys next time.